Yeah, I'm back. I'm the hip-hop antichrist. They'll regret it if they hand me mics. Jack the Ripper hunting bitches down by candlelight. Changing the standard of nice, brandish a knife. I'm what's cracking like I'm tightening your hand in a vice. My flow nasty, get a Tampax. So many bars you would think I was flipping Xanax. Fuck catering to bitches when I spit, yo. Go and listen to Drizzy, you dumb bimbo. This is real rapping, Webby flow it with a passion. Get these letters in my brain and cause a chemical reaction. Dropping vowels and consonants, powerfully rocking it with enough force to level a continent. What I'm dropping is the right way. Got 'em guessing what I might say. Go bananas like Johnny Drama and Andrew Dice Clay. Since the 9th grade, Webby been a psychopath. Headphones on in detention when I was writing raps. Cue the lightning crash, cue the smoke machines. A fact that you should fear, even Joe Rogan screamed. Dopamine and adrenaline till I'm hemorrhaging. The fucking villain's back in this bitch, you better remember him. No fucking around, don't gotta ask why. I'll be here until the
Chris
day
Webby.
and that's why they know to run when they see
From
me.
There Goes the Neighborhood. Shit's dope. Anyways, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Lower Mars. This is your host, Keith J. Bergeron, chilling. Gonna do a little explanation on where Bandana Bob is. He is in Florida currently, and just not gonna be able to work with the schedule. So he's gonna be a recurring guest, but he's no longer the co-host. It's just gonna be me and a guest. And let me tell you what, I got some badass guests lined up for you. Been waiting on my cables. Got my cables today. Had to unfortunately buy a laptop yesterday because the kid that was going to be my producer got a job, I guess, and bailed. And so $700 later for a stupid computer just for now. Nothing extravagant, but it'll get the job done. So, yeah, that's that. Today I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself so you get to know your host. Yeah, man. Shooting for the new studio in my parents' basement. In fact, they're exercising the room next door. We will see what that is going to come out to be for sound-wise. Whether we can hear them or not, we shall see. So, let's go. Rate, review, subscribe on YouTube. That will definitely help us. That's the best way to help us is to subscribe. Yeah. So let's get going. First, I'm going to tell you a little short story about when I was 7 years old. And I was in first grade, I believe. And the teacher had called my parents and told them that they thought that I had a speech trouble, so I should be sent to a speech pathologist, which we did. And I went for a day and did all the testing and all that. And in the end, they told my parents that I was just lazy. Boy, that definitely set a tone for my life. Not that I'm always lazy, but damn, with my depression and shit, I do get lazy and don't want to do shit. Hence to the weight, but I mean the weight I gained while I was sick for the last year plus. Alright, so let's go. I'm gonna take these papers out so I don't have to fuck with the clipboard the whole time. Which is stupid, right? We'll put that over there. And we'll fuck it. That one's done. Alright. So I grew up in a small town, Colchester. It's just outside of Burlington, Vermont. And I've grown up in the same house my whole life. I've got an older brother. His name's Corey. He's 3 years older than me. He has a wife and 2 kids. A shout out to Sterling and to Asher. Your Uncle Keith loves you. My quick fact, my parents have been together since the 7th grade. What the fuck? Who meets their soulmate in 7th grade and stays together? You know, and they're still happy. That's fucking awesome. You know? So, going through grade school, I always wanted to have that image that I was pretty badass because I was short. We call that short guy syndrome, right? or little guy syndrome, where we just think we're big and bad, but we're really not. So we bark a lot. Yeah, that was me. Probably still am that person to a little bit, you know. But let's see. So I was good and bad at the same time, which is kind of weird. Parents were super, super strict. So therefore, I'd have like a 2 hour window from the time that I got dropped off on the school bus until the time that my mom got home. In this time, I would jump on my bike or strap on my rollerblades, and I'd head out to find my friends. And when I found my friends at whatever house they were, they always had something that was considered bad, to my parents or whatever, that they were doing. They were doing drinking, and they were smoking weed. They were tripping on acid and mushrooms, just drinking 151 straight out of the bottle, getting inebriated. And that wasn't me. But so I did hang out with those guys. They did get into trouble, most of them, when they were younger. I was able to be just enough of a pussy to not do any of the shit that was going to get me in trouble and bring it back to my parents. For the most part, granted, I did get caught smoking pot and all that shit when I was younger, but that started with actually, I used to downhill ski on the Alpine ski team at Colchester. Shout out to Mr. Price. And a buddy of mine, Jordan Norfolk, was pretty much the guy that was showing me that we can smoke weed on the gondola on the way up. We called it the gondola. Super immature. But anyways, we would smoke weed on the way up and ski the way down. Smoke weed on the way up, ski all the way down through the course or whatnot. So that's what I got exposed to really smoking weed, besides just behind a buddy's house through a can or something stupid, where I really didn't get high. But this time I got fucking stoned. I got used to it, and I bought a little pipe from a neighbor that I knew might have one, and I got that pipe and I put it in my ski jacket. We'd use it when I went up skiing. And when I went up skiing, that was a whole nother life. And then I had my ski jacket, which would get hung up actually in this basement. We used to have a wood fire in the corner, and we'd dry all of our winter clothing there. So I had my ski pants hung, my jacket hung, whatever, gloves, hat, neck warmer, whatever I really used that got damp or wet. Happened to be my ski jacket up, and I had a pop pipe, which was a little metal pop pipe. I think it was a keychain, like a little tiny fucker. But my mom took it off the clothesline and tossed it on the pool table to, she was just taking care of my shit, and she heard the clunk. And with that, she investigated what that clunk was, and apparently it was my pop pipe. Oops. Got woke up out of bed. Parents livid. And, that was my first experience with getting caught by having marijuana paraphernalia. Granted, I wasn't smoking that much. I was smoking 2 days a week. Not on the weekend yet. I really didn't start to dive into daily smoking until I was in college when I was 18. And it was the same with smoking cigarettes as well. That's when I started smoking cigarettes. I thankfully quit February 17th of last year. Yeah, I know I have over a year, but either way, I got 6.5 years sober from opiates and hard drugs. I have to specify because lots of people are like, "You still smoke weed, blah 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 blah. You're still getting high," and I did hard drugs for at least 12 years, and between cocaine for 3 years hard, and then switching to OxyContin, which turned when OxyContin got off the market or whatever when that Florida shit went down. It switched to oxycodones, and, pills like that. And which eventually switched to just buying straight up dope, heroin. You'd buy 10 what they call tickets, which are little envelopes, paper, like folded up envelopes that they put a little bit of heroin in each of them. Um, and I snorted all my stuff. I never was a needle user. Needles scared me. I couldn't do it to myself. Thank God. Because, sitting here 6.5 years sober, or almost 6.5 years sober, to think back and say, yo, if I had this much time and I still have tons and tons of track marks all over my arms, and you just can't get rid of some of those scars when you've been doing it that long. So, praise be that I'm fucking scared of needles and wouldn't do it to myself. Yeah. So, parents were super, super strict when I was in high school. So strict that my high school prom, like my senior prom, I took a girl and I had to be home like directly after. And I mean, directly after the dance ended, I bring her home and I come straight home and that's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's no sneaking around, doing other shit. And I think that, that's pretty strict. They'll do something to a kid. And honestly, like, I rebelled because it was so strict. I had to be sneaky, I had to lie. And I learned those traits through high school to do some bad things, but like I said, not bad enough that it would get back to my parents. So I was starting to live that double life of lying to the parents to party and then being with my friends and being a fuck up partier or whatever. So let's see here. Went through most of this shit. Anyway, so let's tell a little bit of a story. So my senior year in high school, me and my friends, well, my friend, she had a party at her house. And it was a bunch of people, normal thing, but it was underage drinking. And somebody had called and said, the cops are on their way, so you guys better get out of there. So me and my friend Carlos and Ashley Bennett and one other person, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was Trevor. I can't really remember. But Carlos and I were staying at Trevor's house for the night, and he didn't come home, so it makes perfect sense that that other person was Trevor. Anyways, so where the party was, like, there's a huge main drag that's like 55 miles an hour or 65 miles an hour, one of the two. So cars are flying on that road. And one person, Trevor, lives on the right-hand side of that busy, you go down the street, and that's where his house was. And the party at Alicia's house was on the left-hand side of that highly traveled road. So when we heard that the cops were coming, we rounded up the four of us, and we started walking back to Trevor's house. Well, we get to where the busy road is, and, we're looking both ways and making sure we have enough time to not get hit. And there's a car coming. So Carlos and I think that we have enough time. So we run across. Ashley and Trevor stay behind. And the cop ends up rolling up on them, or the car ends up rolling up on them, and it happens to be a cop. And, they get taken care of or whatever for underage drinking. Meanwhile, Carlos and I are on the other side, and they saw us cross in front of them. So cops are coming up towards, like, where Trevor's house is. Carlos and I are, like, scaling this big, huge, well, it's like a mountain. Not really, but, like a big hill. And we're scaling it, and there's shale rock there, so it gets, sketchy and shit. So we're running through the woods, and then we hear dogs coming and flashlights everywhere, like, surrounding us, and we thought we were fucked. So we stayed under, like, this tree that had fallen, kind of hidden, and didn't make any sounds, and I fell asleep because I was wasted. Carlos did the first watch, and then when he woke me up, he was like, yo, like, they're gone. We're good to go. So we went back to Trevor's house, but Trevor wasn't there, and it was locked. So I believe I slept in my car that night. But that was, stuff that happened to me that, if I was just to stay and wait for the car to go, I would have got in trouble and I would have go back to my parents. since I didn't get caught, and no one was the wiser, you know. So yeah, that was Stop Melton Police. It was something that I and a bunch of my friends put on our graduation caps. That would be STMP, Stop Milton Police, or just SMP. I don't know what the fuck, something like that. Anyways, that was a little tidbit from my past. So then, all right, I graduated high school with a 2.9. I got accepted into UVM and into Castleton. UVM's super, super close to my house here. So I decided to go to Castleton. It was just far enough away that I could come home on the weekends, do laundry, and re-up on food. I basically just grocery shopped at my parents' house. Um, so yeah, I joined the rugby team when I got to Castleton, and didn't really know how much drinking really was involved in the rugby sport. But boy, did I learn quick. So rugby's got first half, second half, and the third half is a drink up, which the drink up you are not supposed to skip at all. It's your team and the team you just played go to a house and have a party. You know, you beat each other up in the game, and then you go and, you know, be nice and humane. And, you know, you just hang out with these people. The third half really killed me, man. Like, being a rookie, they forced you to drink a shit ton, and I mean a shit ton. So much I mean, dude, I have stories like they nothing gay, right? Absolutely nothing gay. But there was one time that you were blindfolded. I was blindfolded with like 5 other rookies thrown in a car, and they're making it. We're blindfolded, and we're going on a long drive, and they keep talking about how, you know, we're gonna make them fuck something, a sheep or whatever, this and that, just trying to get us all fucking scared. And then ended up bringing us back like it was just a prank. They weren't even gonna do anything. So there was that. But the fear that they were gonna make you fuck a sheep or a goat or do anything like that, and I'm a smaller guy, you know, like I was muscular back then, but I'm still fucking 5'6" on a good day. So the other guys that I was dealing with that were telling me what to do were like fucking 6'5", 6 foot, you know, 250, 300. So a little intimidated in that factor by just the sheer size of these people telling me what I needed to do to play this sport. I would say the lowest of the low, which I really don't tell people, is they made us wear diapers one night, and that's it. And everybody could draw on us whatever they wanted in marker, and we couldn't pee unless somebody told us we could pee. It was super degrading. Ashamed that I actually participated in that, because I really should have just told those guys to go fuck themselves. Like, this is how those guys got off, because it happened from rugby club to rugby club, year after year at Castleton. And I believe the year after I was there and I got out of Castleton, they got shut down for the hazing. So I was like a year, 2 years or whatever before that shit got shut down, because at the time there was a bunch of shit going on with UVM basketball team and just a bunch of teams from around the U.S. that had some crazy hazing rituals. And it finally came a time where somebody spoke out, and then it was like a cascade of all these other people that have gone through that shit, and that, you know, you need to look at this school, that team specifically, this school, that team specifically. And there was some shit that was pretty crazy that was going on. Pretty crazy. So, I mean, my stuff was very, very minor compared to that. All right, so rugby, alcohol, yeah. And, you know, first semester, there was positives to it. Let me tell you what. Girls, girls, girls. It's like that song, man. I probably 11 different girls first semester, which is not bragging, but I mean, that's pretty good. Let's see. So towards, well, actually, right from the get-go, I had a class with Trish, and it was weird because well, we had to partner up to get to know each other to somebody, and she chose me, which was really weird to me because, you know, the girls in my high school, we kind of all grew up together, and I didn't get any of that, like, attention other than from, like, my first girlfriend that was in high school. Her name was Desiree. She really liked me. And I'm the type of guy that kind of needs somebody to like, like that they need to advance on me. Because I seem to not have the luck on the other way, which probably tells me that I'm overshooting the hotness number versus my hotness number, which is really low. So I get it. I can't keep asking out nines. And they're like, fuck, no, I got a boyfriend. Even though that they don't. But anyways, yeah, I tend to have girls ask me before I have a relationship. But anyways, we met first day, and she was always super nice. Every time I'd pass her, she'd be like, "Oh, hey, Keith," and I'm terrible with names, so I would assume that I never really learned her name until we were supposed to go on a date towards the end of the first semester, and then we started dating. And Trish was a good girl, man. Like, this girl had not been corrupted. I used to say that she just lived in a bubble, and she lived in Chester, Vermont, which, if you think my town is a small town, holy shit, this town is tiny. I mean, tiny. But she's a good girl. Her idea of I hooked up with somebody was kissing. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Kissing isn't hooking up. Hooking up is fucking. To me, anyways. So, like, when she was saying, oh, yeah, I've hooked up with 3 people, I was like, cool, that's not that much. And then come to find out with her high school boyfriend, like, stuck it in once. And that's it. And then I corrupt. My bad. So, we start dating. Second semester, I literally go to no classes. Like, fuck school. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just gonna smoke weed in my room and go to parties at night. But basically not do shit. I'm gonna sleep in. I don't even know when my classes are, to be honest with you. So I continued dating Trish throughout the second semester. We'd make trips to her house in Chester. We'd make trips to my house in Colchester. And, we just going back and forth. And come towards the end of second semester, my parents had caught wind that I wasn't doing shit in college. So they came and they called me and basically said, we're coming to pick you up, get your shit together. You're not going to classes, so you're done. Like, come home. You're going to get a job. So, came home, got a job, trying to think of what it was. Whatever it wasn't very long. Maybe it was. I don't fucking know. Maybe. All right. This is what I think happened. I think I came home from that. I started working at A&W Root Beer in the mall, University Mall. That's in South Burlington, Vermont. And I worked at A&W, which was a food stand, and they had, like hot dog mini nuggets or something, corn dog nuggets. That's what they called them. And they were a big hit. That was pretty much like the biggest thing that we sold there. But I also had my little weed operation going because I had gone down one weekend and helped out one of Trish's friends that was suffering from depression really bad, and I'm pretty good with that because I've been suffering from depression for shit as long as I can remember and have been medicated, which I think has been a huge help. A lot of people that are against medications when they have depression and stuff like that, they don't understand the science behind it. Science behind it is your serotonin levels is what makes you happy. If you suffer from depression, your brain doesn't make serotonin as quickly as other people's that stay on that happy keel for the whole life. We have highs and then go down, and highs and then go down. but we're never riding that normal level. So with the medications for depression, it just helps your brain produce serotonin a little faster. So it catches you up. So instead of having your chart that looks like a heart monitor, beep, beep, boop, bop, or whatever the fuck, you have more close to that flat line. Now, it won't be perfect. You'll have curves, but it's way better than going, I feel great. I feel like shit. I feel great. Oh, man, don't fucking talk to me. I'm going to bed. I don't want to be around anybody. I don't want to do anything. I literally, if I need to get gas and my card said C cashier, I'm fucking cruising to the next place where I can try my card again. I'm just not talking to people. Like, you get in those moods. So I was down one weekend, and she had a friend that was having trouble. So I went over there, and I walked into a pitch black room, and I asked him. Well, first I told him who I was. I was like, my name is Keith. I date Trish, and somebody had told me that you were having a little trouble with your depression, and I have a lot of experience with that. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna take a seat and start just talking. And if at any point you want me to leave, just tell me to leave, and I'll leave. But I'm just gonna kind of tell you some background on me. So I tell him a lot of the background with me, and the feelings and emotions that go along with when I'm having a real bad day, and the ups and downs, and what medications really did for me. And he was actually under a desk in tighty whities, and that was it, like curled into a ball when I walked in, and all the lights were off. Could only see from the light of us opening the door and the light coming into his room. And that's what I used at first until he got up and put some clothes on and turned the light on, and we talked for a little bit more, and then we went out that night. We hung out and just chilled. And when you do something like that for somebody, especially out of the goodness of your heart, and you don't know the person, it kind of forms a bond between you and that person. So that person and I were really close, and he actually came down, or up, I guess I would say, to go to Burlington College, which is right near me. So, yeah, he started slinging weed, got a good hookup, apparently, and that's where I turned into selling just a little bit. Nothing major, I'd sell like 3 slices a day, maybe. That's 3/8 for anybody that doesn't understand the lingo of a slice. So, yeah, let's look a little bit on this. Stop Milton Police. Yeah, definitely did that. Okay, so A&W, that's where we're at. I met a girl that went to my high school that I didn't really know when I was in high school, because I kind of felt going through freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year that you always wanted to hang out with the older kids because that's who was cool when you got there. So if I was a freshman, I wanted to hang out with the sophomores and get to know them really well, because I know that as we both move up, we will be entwined until they graduate. So for 3 years at least, I would have this group of friends. And, it didn't stretch out too far to too old, because my brother was a senior when I was a freshman. So his friend group, my brother and I didn't really get along at all. So it wasn't like accepting, oh, Corey's little brother. It was more like, yeah, let's fuck with Corey's brother, that type of shit. So back to my story. So I'm working at A&W, and I meet a girl that it would have been, I think, a sophomore when I was a senior. Somebody I didn't know. Anyways, I start hanging out with her and break up with Trish to be with this chick. 2 weeks into the relationship with that chick, she's like, "Oh, I didn't tell you, but I go to a club in Quebec, which wasn't far away. It was probably like an hour and 20 maybe, or just an hour, we'll say." And she said, "I go to this dance club and I do cocaine and I dance, and I drink. So you can come with me if you'd like, which that would be awesome, or not. But either way, I'm gonna go. And I'm like, 2 weeks into a relationship, yeah, I'm gonna let my new girlfriend go to a different fucking country, right? Get drunk and hammered while doing cocaine, which means you're gonna get really, really intoxicated and not feel it. But I didn't know anything about cocaine at the time, so I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go with you, And I tried cocaine in there for the first time, and I liked it, obviously. And then we went up the next weekend, did it again. The second weekend was really the problem. And I told this story already on the first episode about driving backwards on the interstate in Canada. Yada, yada, yada. That was that girl. So she kind of got me started into doing drugs. Before that, I didn't really do anything other than smoke pot. I mean, I'd been offered everything under the sun, and I just didn't in college. I just stayed with the marijuana. I did trip on mushrooms once, and that was a good experience. All I can hear is the dog barking currently. Hey! Okay. Back to it. What the fuck? This is the problem with the recording in your parents' basement. It's also there's noises, fucking dogs barking. Ridiculous. So, okay. Then, we dated for like 3 months. I broke up with her, got back with Trish. So this is second year of college for Trish. This is my first year, like, really at home. And I get a different job working at Budget Rent-A-Car and Priority Auto. It was like one and the same because the owner of Priority Auto, which was the auto mechanic shop, he did a licensee through whoever was doing it at the time, which happened to be in Bangor, Maine, the people that was bosses for Budget. So he wanted me to come in and to run the Budget side. And I was like, sweet. So I came in young, just running the Budget side. I think there was another girl when I started. She didn't last too long before it was just the Keith show. So I ran all that shit, and I loved it. When it was just Budget Rent-A-Car and Priority Auto, it was fucking sweet, Like, I did feel like I was kind of a call bitch for Priority Auto, and the Budget Rent-A-Car side was not booming, and I worked, like, normal hours. We weren't open, like, till the last flight, like most rental agencies are. But, yeah, dude, that shit was awesome. So then I'm running that. I need to back up. Trish and I got back together. I'm still working at A&W or some shit. I don't know what's going on. But I moved for a summer. I decided to take the summer that she's got off and move down to Chester into her parents' house with her and find a job. So I moved down there. This shit isn't even any pertinent. I don't know why I'm saying it. Let's stop this broadcast right now and see what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, Webby. Shit, I've been at the bottom for a while, I know that. But, shit, we in the skyline now, baby. Yeah. I've been stuck on the ground, but now it's my time. Time to take flight right into the skyline. Off to beautiful women sipping on fine wine. Up at the stadium where the lights lime. And I'm moving way past sound check. Still looking for a life that I ain't found yet.